Hello everyone and welcome back to the X-Ring. I hope you're doing well today. Today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the DNT. This is the DNT TNC635R. So if you want to know my opinion on it, definitely stick around. So it's holding 1 mil. Let's see if we can get this one at 1 mil on the 300-yard target. Here we go. That's an impact at 300. We'll see if the deer, yep, they're still there. They don't know what the heck's going on. Well, a couple months ago, you guys remember me reviewing the DNT Optics, the One. I think they actually called the One the wrong one. This should be the One. This is the one unit that will do it all. So guys, even though I haven't done a lot of videos on it, I have a lot of experience with not only military grade, and when I mean military grade, we're talking about $50,000 and $60,000 thermal units, as well as like the Insights that are like $15,000. I've done a lot of shooting with those. However, I've never done a video on them because it's so hard to capture the footage. So when DNT reached out to me to see if I wanted to review the 635, I was a little apprehensive at first, but since they did such a great job with the scope, I figured I would go ahead and give this an opportunity. Now guys, I've been using those units a long time, and for those that don't know, if you're wanting to get into predator hunting or any type of hunting, there are some things you need to consider first and foremost. So let's say you're talking about a clip-on unit. Okay, so if you use a clip-on, which simply means using something forward of your daytime optic, you're going to be really limited on the power range that you can use on your daytime optic. So the benefit of it is you can use your favorite scope, whatever it is. Let's just say it's a Night Force 2.5 to 20, or maybe a 1 to 8, or a 7 to 35. The problem with the 7 to 35 is when you use a clip-on unit, you typically can't use big power because you'll get big pixelation within your image, okay? So you've got to use it on the lower power, so having something that's like a 1 or a 2 as your base magnification, up to about the 8 range is about all you can do. Now, using all of these different units, whether it was an I-ray unit or a pulsar or anything like that, anytime you add something in front of the scope, you have to collimate it, which basically means making sure that the angle of the scope tube is going through the same angle of here, and you have to collimate to make sure everything's right. Now, the beauty of the clip-on is once you get it all collimated, you can just click it onto the night vision bridge on the front of your favorite rifle or your bolt gun or whatever it is, and you can use it. But it's one or the other. Typically, it's either a thermal unit or it is something that's an IR unit, okay? So that's what a clip-on is. Then you had these dedicated units. Dedicated units means something like this. You basically have no optic on the rifle. You place the unit on there, whether it is, let's say, a Trigicon, you know, an IR hunt or something like that, a hunter, or you're using an I-ray or some of the AGM models, you're kind of stuck with that thermal unit. But it doesn't do both. It's not your daytime optic as well as your nighttime optic as well as your thermal optic. Guys, this does all three. Like, it does everything. It really is the one unit that you would need to be able to shoot and have a good time shooting out at long range. No problem engaging targets out to about 1,000 yards with this using the daytime image. On level and impact. So the way this video review is going to be done, the first edit that I had done, it was over an hour long. It was just too much information. I'm going to condense this down so that now you guys understand the difference between these different units, what you're getting when you get this DNT 635. Guys, this was sent to me by DNT for review. I did not purchase this, but this unit right here has been flawless with one exception. During one time when I shot this, it did lose a connection, it turned off, and I had to turn it back on. I did call the guys over at DNT, and they said that's very rare for that to happen. It did happen in the earlier days. It was actually an O-ring where basically under recoil, the battery was disconnecting from the contact, and with what I was shooting, that kind of makes sense, but it only did it once. These are rated for 50 BMG. Now guys, there's a couple different models of these ranging from like a 225 to a 335 to a 635, but what that's really talking about is really more about the thermal capabilities of the unit, okay? So that's the first thing, and the price point is like $1,000, $2,000, and $3,000, this being their top of the line. But when I say this is the one unit that does it all, guys, when you put this on top of your favorite rifle, whether it's your AR, 22, 300 blackout, bolt gun, doesn't matter, you have a daytime optic. So if you guys look right here, this is what it looks like when you're using it on the daytime mode. You have a reticle, you have a ballistic laser rangefinder that you can get your holds from. You can either do it where it's a holdover or where it's dialing it for you. So you do have that laser rangefinder feature. Now guys, to have all these features within the actual optic itself, guys, there is a lot going on. You have 3 different lenses here, this one being your IR illuminator, this one being your thermal or your germanium lens, and then this one being your daytime optic. So with all 3 of these, you have a focus ring on them. So on the thermal, you have a focus ring here on the end. On the daytime optic, you have a removable sunshade, but you also have a focus on this one. And then on the IR illuminator, you actually have a focus here. So that way it basically has a broad beam all the way down to a spot beam. It works really, really well. Here is going to be your laser rangefinder. So you actually have another lens here. There's also a pickup here on the back side of this so that when your face is in the way, it turns on. And when you get off of the optic, you have the option of having it where it turns off, so it's conserving that battery life. The battery is contained under this area here. It actually ships with 2 batteries, and the battery life is incredible on these. It does not eat batteries like most of the other thermal units that I've used. However, there is a learning curve on this. Guys, you're going to have to spend the time to learn how to use the unit. There are 7 buttons on this thing. You have 2 on the side here, and you have 5 on the front side here. One of the other things I am going to ding this on is if you have gloves, let's say it's very, very cold outside, you're not going to have that tactile feel with these 4 buttons on the top as well as the power button that's above it. The other thing is they have dual functions, so you have short press, long press, and the owner's manual that comes with it leaves a lot to be desired. You're not going to pick this up and understand how to use it if you only dedicate 30 minutes to it. Yes, you can get it, you can put it on your rifle and you can go shooting immediately, but to understand everything that it does, everything from being able to switch from daytime to the T unit or the thermal. YouTube doesn't like the word thermal. They don't like thermal reviews, but that's okay. We're just going to continue on. You have the option of having a lot of different things. So you have a full color daytime optic up top, but then this will also be a night optic that uses IR. Now, you don't have to run the IR illuminator if the conditions are right. You know, I talked to Zach over at Mountains Mullets America. He has a great video on the one that he reviewed. I think he had 2 different model units, and under perfect conditions, you know, literally 3/4 or almost full moon, he was able to shoot out to 800 plus yards. I did the exact opposite, guys. What I did was I tried to choose the absolute worst possible conditions that you could use. Nothing. It's still like 260. There's 124. I found an overcast evening that was pouring down rain, and I shot in the rain, in the fog, to see what the capabilities of this unit are under the absolute worst conditions. And as you guys might figure, just like with any of your laser rangefinders, guys, I don't care if it is a Leica, a Zeiss, a SIG, a Swarovski, whoever's unit, whenever you start to add the elements of rain, heavy rain, or fog, your laser rangefinder will not work as far. I don't care whose it is. I don't even care if it's a military unit. It's going to be limited because it's going to be something obscuring that laser from able to get a reflection off of that target to get it back. So under the absolute worst conditions, this laser rangefinder was still good out to about 300-ish yards, okay? Let's try a hard target at 4. Much more than that, I was having a problem getting a return, but that is common with all laser range finding units. As far as the thermal, I was able to pick up heat signatures beyond 600 yards under those really bad conditions. So we're on red hot. There's a second deer. Isn't that cool? That is cool. As far as the IR, no problem out to about 600 yards as long as you're focusing this beam. So I wasn't able to punch out any further than that. That was about it using it under the worst conditions. During daytime conditions, using the daytime optic, not a problem whatsoever, all the way out to 700 yards, even hitting a 5-inch MOA steel at 500 and a 10-inch steel at 700 yards. There was no issue with that whatsoever. So you're going to have to spend the time to learn this unit. So on the daytime unit, guys, you can have that as your main screen. You have a ton of different reticle options, colors, tons of features in there, and you also have true mils or MOAs. Guys, what you have to realize is a lot of IR and thermal units, the reticle that is displayed is not a true indication of true mil radians or true MOA, okay? So you've got to kind of make it work and learn that, you know, 2 means this distance or whatever the case is, or you're going to have to run a different profile. Guys, this is once you learn how to use it, this is the simplest do-all unit I've ever used in my life, and I really mean that. And guys, I don't get any kickback from DNT from this. I've never once received a single dime from the company, even though you can use X-Ring in the coupon code, and I think it goes to an affiliate. I have never cashed a single penny from them, so I've not made any money from DNT. Like I said, I got the DNT 1. Was very impressed with that. Got this, and I'm even more impressed with this. Guys, this thing has pretty much everything you need. When you open the box, it comes in a nice hard case box. It comes with 2 batteries and a charger. With a wall charger, it uses USB-C, and it actually comes with 2 base mounts. One is 0 MOA, and then one is 20 MOA. So the reason you would need that is for something like a bolt gun that already has 20 minutes, you wouldn't want to run 40, so you'd use the 0 MOA perch on here, or the mount system. It's simple, comes with a Torx that holds 4 screws here, you put it on. But if you had something like an AR that you wanted to punch out the distance that only had 0 on the rail, you could add the 20 MOA, and that's going to help you reach out even further. The zeroing process is super simple, but not if you read the owner's manual. You're going to have to find some other resource online. There are a ton of YouTube videos on it. It is literally a 2-shot zero. You take 1 shot, as long as it hits the paper and you can see it, all you're going to do is adjust down to it. You're going to freeze the frame where it was at. You move the crosshairs where that bullet impact was, and as long as your rifle's shooting, you know, about a minute or so, your next shot's going to be centered up. So all of that's super easy. The other thing that's really cool is you can turn on and turn off the picture-in-picture function. So if you guys see this, you're going to have a full color image, but you could also do a thermal image on the top or on the corners, wherever you want to place it. It has a full ballistics program that will literally give you the holdovers. You could hit it for the distance, and if it's 600 and let's say 25 yards, as long as you got a reflection from that, you would actually see the holdover, and it would show you where you need to hold that round. As long as you've confirmed everything, confirmed your velocity, it will allow you to just hold over, boom, hit it. But there's also another feature in there that allows you to do the dialing, as they call it. So you're not physically dialing. There are no turrets on this to do that with. But if you press the button, what it does is it lasers it, and then it moves the crosshairs to where you need. The benefit of this is now you have the ability on the horizontal line to do a hold for your wind. Okay, if you shoot in windy conditions and you needed to hold, let's say, 2 mils of wind, you can't do that if it's doing the holdover method down at the bottom, because there's no other indicators. So I like that they've added that in there. Guys, it's really, really easy to use once you get it set up. And like I said, there is a learning curve if you don't have the time to dedicate a couple of hours to sit in your living room or whatever, because the owner's manual, like I said, doesn't have a lot of information in it. Most of it's going to be what you can learn online from other content creators and guys that have really taken the time to learn this unit. It also does on-screen recording. It'll hold about 57 gigs of information, tons of video, and it has auto record that will come on whenever you shoot the rifle, or you could manually turn it on yourself, so you're never going to miss any of that footage. The downside is, and the reason I can't show you any of this, is the minute you go into the main menu, it kills the recording function. So as far as me being able to show you the zero process and all of that, I think that's just going to be too boring to put in a video format. My job is to actually tell you what my thoughts on this are. Guys, I've let this sit in the rain. It's an IP67 rating. I let it sit for 30 minutes. There were no issues with fogging up under the conditions that we had. Now, it was here in the south. It was about 75 degrees, and I let it rain on this unit for 30 minutes straight. Literally wiped it off with a towel. I've had no issues with it whatsoever. On the back side, you do have an eye shield or an eye cup. I don't like those things, so I just left it open. If you want to press your face into it, and that way you can kind of obscure some of the light that's coming in and out of this once you've got your face up to it. You have an ocular adjustment to be able to adjust for the clarity of the screen that you're seeing. And then you have a power ring here that allows you, depending on if you're on the thermal unit or if you're on the daytime or nighttime unit, it allows you to zoom in and out. There are a lot of other features on this as well, that if you wanted to run a thermal like a scan, you can do what they call a therm lock. So while you're shooting in, let's say, IR mode, if something comes out into the field that's alive, you'll be able to see it, whether you're using white hot, black hot, red hot, iron hot, any of those. So guys, I know this sounds like a sales pitch, but guys, I've used a lot of night vision type units. The problem is, can't really shoot them in the daytime, not with the clarity that you're going to see with this. Now, the other downside of this is everything's tied into one unit, and it is essentially a computer. It is a TV screen. So if you're on the hunt of your lifetime and the electronics goes out or your battery goes out, you're not going to be able to see through this like a conventional scope. Guys, I don't think this will ever replace a conventional scope, but it is the one unit that will do it all. It will do everything that you need it to do, everything from hunting to daytime shooting. It's actually a very, very impressive unit. They also have a Zulu unit that I have no hands-on experience with, but a lot of guys have heralded those things as well as being a great bang for the buck. So this was not the direction I wanted to go with the video, but I really wanted to let you guys understand what I truly feel about this unit. I have shot it on everything from rimfires to 300 blackout to 6.5 Creedmoor, all the way up to 300 Norma Mag, and I've had no issues with the unit whatsoever. I've also had the unit for over 2 months, and I've shot probably 600 or 700 rounds using this on various rifles, because I wanted to make sure, because yes, it is made in China. Unfortunately, it is what it is, but so are DJI drones and most of our cell phones. Quality can still come from overseas. Whether you need it or not, it's one of those things that if you're wanting to get into nighttime hunting, whether it's predator hunting or something like that, pest control, you can do it with one of these. This is truly an exceptional unit. There's not many units that can do everything that this can. The app feature works great on your phone. There is no truing function per se, but if I did notice an error in a holdover, I could just adjust velocity, or you could go in and just manually change the BC for that bullet to where everything kind of lines up. Like I said, would have no problem putting this on pretty much any rifle. I wouldn't want to shoot a PRS match with one, because when you use, let's say 20 power, let's say 100 yards, you are going to get a pretty pixelated image. You'll be able to see small details down to about an inch or so, but it's not going to have that fine, crisp image. It is truly digital zoom. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this review of the DNT. This is the TNC635R. I think it's one of the best things on the market at the moment, and I have no reason not to like this thing other than the user interface and learning how to use it. You got to spend the time to use it. But that's true with anything. Whether you get a set of SIG 10K Gen 2s, you've got to learn how to get through that menu. You've got to learn how to do the ballistics on it. All of this stuff is starting to get extremely digital. You know, whether you're talking about spotting scopes, Thermal units, IR units, you're going to have to take the time to learn it. That's the age we're living in. Electric cars and everything else, and talking in our watches like Dick Tracy. You guys take care. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We're going to try to get you some more videos. Headed out to South Dakota to do some stuff, but I got some really cool trips lined up, not only with Bergar and Surefire, but some other companies, and just trying to stay busy. Guys, I appreciate each and every one of you, especially all my Patreons, and anyone that's subscribed to the channel. Guys, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. I'm wanting to try to break 200,000 subscribers this year, just as a personal goal. I've had the channel close to 7 years now, and it would be something good to see. Hope you guys are enjoying the content. You guys take care and have a great week. All right, so now on the top left side, you'll see a timer. And what I'm going to do is the reticle color, I don't like white. You guys can see how white is just kind of washed out. I can switch it. I think I'm going to just go to a black. Black will work pretty well. And I am on the lowest power for daytime. You'll see 5X at the bottom right. And I'm just going to use this knob on the back side here. And you can see we get a little bit pixelated because we're going to maximum power here, which is 20. We're going to use the front side here to get that image a little clearer, or as clear as we can get. And just like with a regular scope, sometimes more is not better. 297, you guys can see the holdover, and that's an impact. If I do that, I'm just going to hold low left. Impact. The very, very top. All right, 603, and here we go. Sending, let me get to a rifle level. Impact. All right, okay, we're focusing that as good as we can. We're on 15x zoom. And guys, you want to see how you can go all the way to 700 up there. That's 6, 550, 500. We can zoom in. Now what we're going to do is picture in picture. I'm going to press the right hand side, hold it, and now we have the T unit up at the top. Okay, so now we're on T at the bottom. We can increase brightness. We can change to black, red, so you guys can see the can on there. You've got iron hot and white hot. Black hot might work the best, but you can superimpose both. So if you look on the top PIP screen, you're going to see the 500. And as we zoom in on power, you can see that, but we're not zooming in on the thermal, what we have on the T. So if we click the up button, which is going to stop the recording, guys, what we end up doing is we have to take this auto thermal lock off. I should be able to record. And then now with that same unit, I can zoom in on that T. Now it's going to be a little bit fuzzy, but I can dial this in. So now you guys can see downrange what's going on. It's going to be really hard to see the targets, but there's 5 at the top in the PIP. We really can't see an image out there at 5. Okay, really tough the way it's washed out right now. We haven't zeroed this for the T unit. You have to zero these independently of each other. I'm going to go ahead and record on the T unit. And we're at 100 yards. You guys can see that right here. We should get an impact if everything's good. All right, we're good on that one. Now we're going to go to, we'll see if I can see anything. All right, I think I make out a 3, but let's verify this. Yeah, what I thought was 3 was close. So I'm a little off to the right. So I would need to hold left edge. Let me re-zero this just a hair. It should be about 1 mil on that T unit there. So let me go ahead and record. I'm going to hold 1 mil, and here we go. 300 yards. That's an impact. So it is tough to make out these T images. So you see the detractor if you've got to buy one or the other. Now I have the best of both worlds. What'd you say? Let me just hold the top of the head. Oh, just off right. You guys are seeing that? Trying to keep the camera running. On level and impact. Impact, yeah. Not bad for a digital setup. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put this on the bolt gun on the 6.5. I'm going to get it zeroed. All right, so he's on and recording. We are pretty level, and here we go. Safety off. All right, are we on the paper?
You're on paper.
All right, so is it low and left just a hair?
You're low right.
Low right, okay. So I can't see the resolution on that, guys, so I'm going to look on this scope to see where we're at. Okay, got it. So that you guys can kind of see this, it's right in there. So what I'm going to do is, hopefully this thing stays recording. I don't know if it will. All right, top left, yellow diamond, here we go. Decently level.
Left edge.
I think I actually broke it left edge, but that's okay. Here we go.
Same hole.
What's that?
Same hole.
Elevation good?
Elevation's good.
What do we need to go? One right?
Yeah. 10th right.
A 10th right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the zeroing menu. All right, let me go same spot. We're going to go same spot. I'm going to change the reticle color so I can actually see something. All right, so black dot, holding level. Close enough?
Close enough.
All right, so as you can tell, it is pouring the rain. And with this type of rain, guys, laser rangefinders are extremely limited, regardless of who they are. But in this DNT unit, we are recording right now. What I'll do is I will go to 100 yards. Let's go ahead and laser it. It's saying it works, 103. Let's go to about 200. 199. Let's go to 300. And nothing. Let's try a hard target at 4. Nothing. Let's go like 260. That's 124. So guys, when you get heavy rain like this, it is not going to let you laze. It's just too much. I'm going to go ahead and turn this around so you guys can see what I'm talking about. That's going to be that kind of rain there. Let me get the Chick-fil-A out of the way. But if you know your holes, you can still make your shot. 500 yards, it's calling for 2.7. We held 3 because this rifle's actually running kind of fast. So as long as we have this phone app, we have all of our data. The rain is lightening up a little bit. Let's go ahead and hold about 2.5 mils. Tell me when you're ready, spotter, at 500.
500. On.
Impact.
Hit.
Center. All right, so you guys are seeing how that's working pretty well. Let's see if we can get a 700 hit. I'm just trying to show what the daytime capabilities are. At 700, it's saying 4.7. So big man steel, 4.7 at the top. Spotter ready?
Put on. Hit.
Impact. So that is all there. Even if your ballistic rangefinder isn't working. 692 would be 4.6, which is right there, which is where we hit before. So you guys can see how this holdover works by using that. So if we did one at, let's say, 600, just so you guys see it. Let me go ahead and move this camera. 600 yards. Let me laze it. It's 571. 3.4. There's my holdover. And here we go.
Hit.
Impact. All right, so it is pitch black. I'm actually talking to the camera over here. I have a PVS 14 recording from the rear. Sergio's going to check on the rear just to make sure that he can see me in the camera, or at least see the rifle and kind of down range. I'm going to load 5 shots in here. I'm going to turn the unit on. You guys know that this sat out in the rain for about 30 minutes. This should be a good image, right, Sergio? All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to load 5 rounds in here. I'm not going to get crazy or anything. I'm going to go ahead and fire the unit up. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to record, and you guys can see that we're on night mode. Okay, so this is night mode, but not the T, okay? So if we go over here, we can barely make out the steel there to the right of the reticle. It's on the reticle now, and then we've got the paper. Now on the night mode, not T, we can turn on the T under the pip, okay? So you guys can see up in the top in the picture-in-picture, it's doing a refresh. You guys can see the target. It's under black hot right now. I can turn on the IR illuminator, and then I can focus this. You guys can see how I'm making this beam wider and wider. And so this will give us more visibility. You can probably see that with the PVS-14. If we go out to 200, we could see that. Let me turn the thermal back off. Let me turn the pip back off. And we have 5 different levels. This is the brightest level on level 5. Let's see if we can make out anything at 300. 300 is going to be somewhere right in there. You guys can barely see it. Crosshairs are on it. I'm going to try to focus this as much as I can right there. So I'd be able to make a 300. Can we make a 4? Yep, there's 4. There's 450. And then 5 I cannot make out. It's about right there, guys. That looks like that's 5. But unless you knew it, you probably wouldn't know that that was there. If I go to 600, I can't make out anything. So you're going to be limited. I mean, there's 600 right there. Okay, so we could see it. If we switch over to thermal, you could see a little bit of black hot at 600. Let me try to focus it a little bit better. But you'd have to know it's out there. Right now we have it on red hot. There is a deer there. You guys can see that. And so on the thermal unit, I could definitely tell that there is a deer there. If I needed to range him, I'm going to estimate he's going to be around 2 something. 264. Yep, 264. It's 1 MRAD, which is right at 300 yards or so. This is like 1-1 at 300, so we could definitely take him out. No doubt about it, if it was deer season. That's about it. So what we're going to do is, rather than mess around anymore, and I can go up on the different levels on thermal too. That's level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're not going to be shooting any deer, so let me go ahead and switch. You can see his eyes right there. Let's go ahead and scare the daylights out of him. There is a target hiding in the woods here. Let's go ahead and see if we can laze it. That's a 2. Oh, another deer. Look at that. Second one. Let me switch over to thermal so you guys can see. So we're on red hot. There's a second deer. Isn't that cool? That is cool. So let's go ahead and switch back over to the daytime mode. We know that it's 0.6. It's already dialed in. So there's 200. There's that target that's hiding in the woods. Right there. Let's see if we can land one on it. All right. So we've got the target at 267. We have 2 deer. 1, 2. And these things are going to scatter like all get out. So here we go. Going hot. They're level. I don't want to shoot them. Here we go. So we definitely hit it. And the deer is like, what the crap was that? Let me go ahead and switch it back to thermal. You can see they're both still there. All right, so we're still recording. What we're going to do is, you can see the heat from the suppressor. Let's go ahead and switch back over to the nighttime mode. That's 300 right there. And guys, it is pitch black. Let's see. It's showing me at the bottom was right here where that green mark is. So it's holding 1 mil. Let's see if we can get this one at 1 mil on the 300-yard target. Here we go. That's an impact at 300. We'll see if the deer, yep, they're still there. They don't know what the heck's going on. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. And that is the review of the DNT TNC635R. I think it's well worth the money. And as far as the warranty, a lot of people are going to be concerned about the warranty. The warranty is 5 years on the thermal, on the T unit. And I believe that's actually good enough. I am going to turn this system off and leave it with you guys. Guys, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. It'd be really cool to break 200,000 before the end of the year. I'd like to get 200,000 subscribers. And I hope you guys enjoyed that. You guys take care and have a great night.